Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for March 13th, 2022 from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. It was a cold morning, but at least there was some sunshine, and actually a lot of the bay froze again overnight. The temperature never went above freezing even though we had southwest winds, and I was hoping that would bring a good flight today, but unfortunately we didn't have many raptors, and some snow showers shut the countdown early in the afternoon. Today, I saw the first fox of the season. It was in the field next to the field that the Hawkwatch platform is in. This juvenile Peregrine Falcon was around for most of the morning. I first spotted it on the ice, and then I could tell that when it was flying around because all of the galls would get stirred up, and then it was fighting with 3 northern harriers and diving at them. And before it left, it gave me a great view. This may be the best Peregrine Falcon photo I've ever taken, so I was very happy about this one. How do we know it's a Peregrine Falcon? Well, it's got a distinctive facial pattern, just a very large falcon. All falcons have these pointed wingtips, of course. And we know it's a juvenile because if this bird were perched upright, the streaking on the breast would be vertical. Adult peregrines have horizontal barring. This juvenile Light-morph rough-legged hawk continues to hunt the marsh every day. The northern Shrike is still around, and it perched in a tree pretty close to the platform, letting me get better photos than I've been getting most days. Here we have an immature bald eagle, and I think this is an older immature, maybe a 3rd or 4th year. And we see that it looks like it does not have any remaining juvenile feathers. Remember, any retained juvenile feathers would stick out more than the feathers that have been replaced, and would also be quite faded by now. So it looks like it's replaced all the wing feathers at least one time. Let's go through the steps to identify this hawk. First of all, what is the shape of this hawk? I would say this hawk looks like a flying cross, in the sense that it's got a head that sticks out, it's got a long tail, the wings are somewhat long and skinny, so it's a flying cross. So just from the shape alone, we know that this is an accipiter. So that means it's either a sharp-shinned hawk, a Cooper's hawk, or a northern goshawk. If we look at the underside coloration, we see this orange barring, and northern goshawks never show that plumage at any age. So we know it's not a northern goshawk, plus they're the most rare of the 3 that we get. So this is either a sharp-shinned hawk or a Cooper's hawk. Let's look at a couple more things. 1, the head is large. The head really sticks out in front of the wings. It's very obvious. 2, it's holding its wings very straight. It's not pushing the wrists forward, giving a rounded leading edge. It's a very straight leading edge to the wings. And number 3, we can even make out the tail feathers, and the outer tail feathers are shorter than the central tail feathers. So all of these factors combined make this an adult Cooper's hawk. If this were a sharp-shinned hawk, the head would look smaller. This area would probably be more rounded as it pushed the wings forward, and the tail would look more square because the tail feathers are of the same length. So this is a Cooper's hawk. Here we have a male American Wigeon, and there's a couple field marks I want to call your attention to. Number 1, this head is very distinctive. We see some green on the head, and we can even see the white patch on the forehead. Very distinctive on Wigeons, one of the best field marks to identify them when they're on the water. They also have a pretty distinctive pale bill. In flight, we also see the pattern of dark and white on the wing. So we see that these secondary feathers are actually dark or black, and that the white is in front of those feathers. So that's different than, say, a gadwall, where these feathers that are dark here would be white on a gadwall. Another thing to look at is the belly. So we see on the Wigeon it has a brown breast and then a white belly. And then we see that all the way in the back it has black. So if we were looking up at this bird, we'd see that pattern of brown, then white, then black. Here we have a flock of northern pintails, and we can see how their underside coloration is different than on the Wigeon. So on the pintails, if we look at this male up in the top right, we see that its head is brown, but that its neck and breast are white. So the white area, or the lighter colored area on the underside of the pintail, starts up here at the head. So it's the neck and the complete underside. And again, they do have that black in the very back like we saw on the Wigeons. But notice the tail on the pintail. Very long and pointy. And even on the females, they don't have that feather sticking out in the back, but it's still very pointy. If we look at the eBird checklist, we see we had 41 species today. Now let's look at hawk count to see the totals of migrating raptors. We had 7 turkey vultures, 2 bald eagles, 1 Cooper's hawk, 2 red-tailed hawks, 1 peregrine falcon, for a total of 13 migrants today. So again, not the huge day I had hoped for, but at least there was a little bit of migration. One other thing I want to point out is that the clocks changed last night. We're now in daylight savings time. However, HawkCount always posts the time in standard time. So looking here, it was 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. standard time. So clock time, I put in data actually from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So just be aware of that. And that'll be true for the rest of the season. Everything will be 1 hour off because HawkCount uses standard time, or bird time as we call it. Some of the non-raptor highlights today included 750 snow geese that came through in one big group, 2 great black-backed gulls, and the northern shrike. And there were no new species for the season today. If we look at the forecast, tomorrow will be partly cloudy and then cloudy, much warmer up near 50 degrees. Winds will be west-southwest, but fairly light. So I would think that migration for songbirds overnight could be decent, and that would extend into the early morning. And we might have some raptor activity in the early morning as long as a lake breeze doesn't kick in too early. But I think that at some point tomorrow, it could be early afternoon, we'll have a lake breeze kick in, which would switch the winds to be a cold northeast wind, drop the temperature down. And when that happens, we usually lose our migrating hawks. So it looks like tomorrow earlier in the day will be good, or at least better, and then later in the day won't be as good. And then for Tuesday, it's looking rainy, so won't be much happening. Wednesday, light southerly winds. So again, we'll probably have a lake breeze kick in. So we'll keep an eye on Wednesday, but that might not be good because the winds will be too light. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of these daily updates. This is David Brown. Thanks for watching.